May it please the court. Your Honor, opposing counsel, members of the jury. It seemed just like another toy until it took a child's life. Members of the jury, this is Miss Andy Davis. She's a single mother who works 2 jobs to support her family, and Andy does everything in her power to ensure that her family is happy and they're healthy. In August of 2009, Andy bought her 10-year-old daughter, Hillary, the birthday present she had been begging for, a Princess Beads jewelry kit. And Hillary loved this gift. She would play with it constantly, arranging the beads into different designs, spraying it with water, and walking away with a new bracelet or a new necklace. You see, there was a chemical called 1,4-butanediol on these beads that allowed them to fuse together. Unfortunately, members of the jury, Andy's 2-year-old son, Joey, well, he too became fascinated with beads. August 8th of 2009 was supposed to be just like another day. Andy woke up her 2 children. She got them ready. She started getting ready for a job interview. She called in the babysitter. She walked out the door. She thought that she would see her 2 children later that day with some good news of a new full-time job. Instead, Andy received a phone call that would forever change her life. Her 2-year-old son, Joey Davis, was in the hospital. And Andy's heart dropped as she raced to the hospital to be by her son's side. And Andy sat and watched helplessly as Joey struggled just to breathe. Andy was helpless when Joey began seizing and lurching and vomiting mouthful after mouthful of those princess beads. Andy was helpless when Joey stopped breathing, and Andy was helpless when the doctors tried to resuscitate him, and Andy was helpless when they failed. It was a parent's worst nightmare. Good afternoon, members of the jury. My name is John Gullidge, and along with my co-counsel, I represent Andy Davis and Joey Davis. Today we have brought suit against the defendant, Happy Land Toy Company, the company that produced those princess beads, negligence per se. And as such, we bear the burden of proof today, which means we must prove to you by a preponderance of the evidence that the defendant is liable. Now, this means that we must leave you feeling that it is only more likely than not they are liable for the death of Joey Davis. And throughout today's proceedings, I want you to consider 3 questions. 1, did the defendant break a law? 2, did Joey Davis suffer harm? And 3, was Joey's harm the result of the defendant breaking that law? Now, if at any point during today's trial you find the answer is yes to these 3 questions, you must find that the defendant is liable. To answer these questions, we're going to call forth 3 witnesses. First, you're going to hear from Dr. Chase Tuckman, the clinical toxicologist that was attending Joey during his final hours. We expect that Dr. Tuckman will take the stand and he'll use his expert knowledge to testify to the cause of death that day on August 8th. And we expect the testimony and evidence to show that Joey died from a GHB overdose caused directly by his ingestion of the princess beads. Next, you're going to hear from Dr. Emerson Zimmer, the former commissioner of the Midlands Department of Health, who we expect will also take the stand and use her expert knowledge to testify to a law called the DAPC Act. And we ask that you pay close attention to this law, because we expect the evidence to show that the defendant did indeed break this law when they used 1,4-butanediol. But we also want you to pay close attention to an investigation she conducted concerning 1,4-butanediol on the princess beads. And lastly, you're going to hear from Tristan Frost. Now, Tristan Frost is an undercover reporter that worked at Happy Land during the production of Princess Beads, who we expect will take the stand and testify that Happy Land knew this chemical 1,4-butanediol turned into GHB. But they were rushed for time, so they went to production anyway. Now, members of the jury, nothing we do here today is going to bring Joey back to his mother's loving arms. Joey was 2 years old. He had infinite potential and infinite possibilities. But what we can do here today is we can send a message. Each and every one of you can send a message that the people of Midlands will not stand for a company to place poison on a child's toy, for a company to violate a law, and most importantly, for a company to create something that can take the life of an innocent child. Members of the jury, even here today, it looks just like another toy. But in the end, it took a life. I feel like we
Yeah, see, look.
Killed
This
them.
is how you do that.
Yeah!